Hey guys, it's Ping out here at Cahuilla Creek Raceway with a cool project bike. You may recognize this a little bit. Our buddy Clay Kirksey and I actually tested this thing, over a year ago?
Yep.
But we had a little snafu that day and we wanted to retry it again. And since then, Clay and his OCD went to work and spent more money on this motorcycle. For those who didn't catch the first one, catch us up on what this thing is and what you did.
Alrighty, 2009 CRF450. So what we did to this bike was we did JBI suspension, front and rear. That was a big crucial part of this build. The bike didn't really have good handling characteristics to begin with. And that was definitely a team problem back in the day. So that was one of my big keys to go get, was good suspension. And JBI has definitely put in the time to ensure that it does everything right. Other things that I have done since our last project though, I added titanium axles in the front, in the midsection here, and in the rear. For me, I wanted to bring more car culture to the moto industry. And that's what I was able to do with this whole plastics kit now. This new look is a completely custom painted design by myself. I custom painted the plastics, laid the graphics, and then I sanded everything down and coated it in a 2K clear coat, and that is an automotive finish. Other than that though, the bike has kind of remained the same, but changed little bits here and there, just because when I took it apart, I wasn't really looking to change anything about the bike, but necessarily change the purpose of the bike. I don't think anybody else really has a bike like this.
Well, no, I think you're probably right. I mean, I'm sure when you look through the walkthrough, you'd notice that there's not a single part on here that's not coated or anodized or polished. It's very trick looking. There's also some parts on here. This is one of Chad Reed's old race exhausts that was found on the internet. The radiators are not stock. I mean, there's a lot of trick little parts on here. These pegs, which were a Pico, it's a European company. We don't see those a lot over here. Very cool titanium pegs. I really like this carbon fiber. You were telling me about this company. So CMT is based out of Italy, and they're a pretty new carbon fiber company, at least in my understanding. I know that there are two companies out there. There's CRM and CMT. And they both do quality products. They do the full carbon gas tanks that you're finding on these new modern race machines. And even CRM makes a subframe for YZ125s for modern 4-stroke applications as well. It's just gonna cost quite a bit of money, but that's okay, because people like myself will go and find that and spend the money. The other thing I really dig, so you've got titanium bolts in here that we didn't have last time. Yes. And they're hollow and they're drilled for weight saving. So I don't know what these things weigh, but you probably can't even feel one of these bolts in your hands. The amount of weight that I took off the bike was roughly 6 pounds in just raw hardware. And then when I put all the parts back into it that were now new titanium, I think we were just about shy of 4 pounds. So about 3.5 or so going back into the bike. So remove 6, 3.5 went back into it. But now, mind you, the structure of those metals is different than the steel that we took out. So the behaviors and characteristics of the bike now are just slightly different. It feels very rigid, but at the same time loose and malleable. And it's a very cool feeling. Well, I got to ride this thing again today on the track here at Cahuilla, and it was a good test. Good traction in spots, muddy and slick in spots. We had some braking bumps, some big jumps. And for me, a little firm on the suspension. Like, I think JB thinks I'm faster than I really am. Somebody who's really moving could probably use this to its ability. But it was a lot of fun. And it does bring me back to the 09. I kind of have Vietnam flashbacks because I had to manage the TLD race team this year. And I'm trying to get Ben Townley comfortable on a bike that was not comfortable for anybody. So it was a challenge, and we had to jump through a lot of hoops. It was a lot of offset races and different triple clamp offsets and link arms and link arms and link arms and trying to get the right balance of the thing, and it was difficult. So this thing does feel comfortable. I mean, as far as the chassis goes, he has the bars super tall. I mean, obviously our structure's a little different. And your levers are out too far from me. I had to basically take my hands off the grips to get them. So some of that stuff was a little just uncomfortable for me. But as far as the way the bike felt and worked, stiff but stable. And the motor, one thing I noticed about it, and it's been so long since I've ridden an 09, but comparing it to modern bikes, it's just a very, and I do remember this, it's very linear. You know, it almost felt like an electric power. And so this has that same characteristic, just a little more power everywhere, but it's very, there's not a hit anywhere in it. You know, it's good. It's not as exciting when you ride it. You want this fun explosiveness or torque or pull out of a turn, and it just kind of, you know, carries, you know, slowly builds. Yeah.
I did notice a few times when you really give this thing the full throttle, and let's say you weren't really at speed already, it will still pick up and burn like a 450 should. And that just gives you some reassurance that the bike is well equipped for whatever you may be doing.
I also did notice it's very quiet. So this exhaust was designed to obviously pass all the AMA specs for racing. You know, there's only a handful of people, maybe my buddy Spencer Luzak and yourself, and maybe the Moto Whips guy. There's only a few of you guys that are as crazy enough to put this much time and effort into a motorcycle, and you picked the worst motorcycle maybe ever manufactured to throw all this money into and time and effort, and I just slow clap for that. You know, it's awesome looking. I wouldn't have ridden it. I would have just probably mounted it on the wall, but thank you for letting us have some laps, and man, I hope you enjoy this thing, because you definitely got the time.
Oh, I will. It's gonna be a blast.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.